I do want you and Frederica to truly understand that I truly appreciate y'all's time.
Absolutely.
Um, I truly do, especially you because you like an hour. I do want you and Frederica to truly understand that I truly appreciate You're like an hour ahead, so I want to thank you. But however, want to thank you all for tuning in this evening to Letha's Real Talk. I am Letha. And I'm confused, of course. Okay, but we want to thank you all. We have our brother here, Justin, and he is a father and he is a man. I think and he may get me when I say this, but I'm just gonna come out and I'm gonna straight up say it. He was a man before he was a father.
No, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So, ladies, we was women before we was mothers, or girls before we was mothers. So, he was a man before he was a father. However, this is a man who is out here doing, he's doing such amazing things. And so, what we want to do tonight, we want to give a tribute to any man that's doing anything positive. I don't think sometimes I think our men don't get enough accolades. I tend to think they don't get enough acknowledgement. And I'm not going to go into why I'm not going to, tie up time about why I think that. However, I do think that sometimes we can kind of um I do think sometimes we don't kind of give enough to the men in our lives or to the men that are out here doing phenomenal things. So with those men who are actually doing phenomenal things, we do want to take in consideration for those who are, no matter where they are in life, no matter where they are in that space. I think sometimes we need to take a step back, people in general, and I think we just need to tell our men, thank you. Men struggle too. They struggle too. I don't think that there is a man that deals with anything less than what a woman deals with. I truly don't believe that. A lot of you all would probably think that I'm being biased, but I'm not being biased. You can't convince me that a decent man deals with less than what majority of women deal with. I don't buy it. And the reason I don't buy it is because of the men I grew up around and even my children's fathers. And I don't want to take anything away from women, but I think sometimes we have gotten so used to the spotlight and the attention seeking and the whatever it is that we're truly not being realistic about the true realization of reality. Men go through stuff too. I think we need to take a pause and I think we need to tell the men thank you. And Justin, I want to say to you and any other man that's out here doing great things, I want to tell you thank you for showing up. Thank you for enduring. Thank you for going through the hard times. Thank you for your sacrifice. I do apologize. I can't apologize for everybody, but I apologize for every heartache, every heartbreak, for every disappointment. I apologize for every time you may have been made to feel like in the moment that whatever you have been doing and everything that you have been trying to do is just not enough. I want to apologize for those moments to where you felt like that you was not inadequate when your adequacy was more than enough. And ladies, I think that we have dismantled things based off our own perception of what we want things to be instead of dealing with things in the reality of what they should be. And I do want to tell you, thank you. I want to say this: Justin does not per se celebrate a Father's Day holiday. And I commend him for that. And I'm gonna tell you all why I commend him for that. You cannot limit or conform any decent man or any decent father to one day. It's every day. It's an everyday thing. And I think it's not fair that we do things and we want to do things and we want to be in the midst of what men are always doing when we're not always in the midst of what men are doing. So tonight is not a night to where we come in and we say, oh, thank you for being by our side. No. Thank you for being in our... No. Tonight is a night where it should be strictly and solely about men who have been there as men, not men alongside a woman, not men just because they've been there for their child. What about men who showed up in the hospitals? What about men who prayed when we didn't see they was praying? What about men who stood up for their communities? What about men who were speaking to people when we did not see those conversations being spoken or we didn't hear those things? So this whole concept that we do things always alongside of men, I think tonight we need to put that to the side and just give men their opportunity to be just that, as men. They was created to be the head and not the tail. They was created to lead and not be led.
Mm.
They was created to speak and not be spoken to always or spoken down upon. Come on, somebody. Because y'all got the right one tonight. Oh, you got the right one tonight, honey.
Uh-oh.
So this whole concept that we want to tribute men while they've been by us, no, men don't need, I mean, let's be real. No matter how we assume God set up things, God spoke. God didn't speak and say man had to have no one man. So I think sometimes women, we need to step to the side and let them have a shine without us always talking about us being in present or us being in the midst or us being alongside of them or us being guided by them. Men don't want to hear that all the time. I already know. You know how I know? Because I talk with enough men to know. I talk with enough men to know that they don't always want to be a part of a conversation that's got something to do with a woman, their kids, or their family. Sometimes they just want to be acknowledged as being the man. And tonight is the night. Tonight is the night that we do that. So without further ado, I want to present to some and introduce to others. Oh, he like, oh, I'm going to present to some. And I'm going to introduce to others a man that was a man before he was a father, a man that before he was a husband, a man that before he even became somebody's son, a whole man, a just man, a right man, a misunderstood man, a trying to do the best he can man. trying to make people understand his point of view, man. And when we say people, we ain't talking about other men, women. We talking about women. Don't no man try to justify where he coming from to another man. A man who trying to understand the emotional illiteracy of women that he come in contact with. Emotional ignorancy of women of the female species that most men come in contact with. He didn't even know I was going to go this far, but I'm going to go this far on behalf of most men. And I'm going to tell y'all why I'm going this far. Women, we do too much. We just can't step back and let these men be men. We want to, I'm their baby mama. Okay, Pookie, we see you. I'm their sister. Okay, we see you. I'm their mama. Okay, I'm their best friend. Okay. But every space is not for everybody. And this is not a space for nothing right now except honoring a man, honoring men. You got men out here working hard, men out here on their hustles, men out here on their grinds, men out here going back to schools, men out here getting different certifications, men out here struggling with their ministries, men out here struggling with their callings, men out here trying to connect with their families, men out here trying to connect with their communities, men out here trying to connect with their social and political organizations, men out here trying to connect with their children. The last thing they need is to be reminded that they got a nagging woman in their ear about how they ought to be doing things. And tonight ain't the space or the place. Justin.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We thank all men. Men, we thank you all. Y'all are important. And this is your space. And what I want to start with, what is manhood to you? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be able to visit the South without visiting the South. Even though I really looking forward to coming back down South soon. What is manhood to me? It's responsibility. It is honoring family. It is honoring character. I'm a Christian, so my perspective is grounded from a Christian worldview. And so we have to honor God. We have to honor family. We have to honor our children and the women in our lives. And then we also have to honor ourselves. And that is a big part of what I believe will help a man become the man that he needs to, so that he can be the best that he can for himself and his family, those that he loves and strives to take care of. So that's what I think. When I see the version of manhood that I want to leave as a legacy, that is the version of manhood that I want to leave behind. I want to be known as a man that kept my word, that did everything I could to provide financially, emotionally, and spiritually and mentally for my kids. I don't have a partner at the moment, but when I get one, I want to do the same thing for my partner. And anybody that comes in contact with me, I want to be able to leave an impact on their lives that allowed them to, consider the way life is. And I also strive to be impacted by those who God allows me to come in contact with, because everybody can be of can be a blessing to you. So that's my hope. That's my version of manhood, to not just be someone that's giving, but someone who's also able to receive.
So if you could speak to people, what is it that men need? And I want you to get as deep as you want to get, okay? You can talk about emotional, intellectually, you can talk about sexual as far as I care, but you can get as deep, but you are a man. And I think one something I don't understand. Women try to dissect men. I don't understand that because you're not a man. Just like a man can't dissect a woman.
Absolutely.
So a man cannot. No, I don't care how long a man been in a relationship with a woman. I don't care how long he been married with his wife. You cannot limit all women to this one specific individual. But if you take that one man and talk to that one man can speak for more men versus that one man who's been with that man. So if you could speak to women about what men really need, about what men, whatever you want to say, open. I mean, it's open for you. No judgment. You know that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there you go.
So for me, in the journey that I've been on and how I've experienced it, I always believe in dealing with self first. So as a man, I would speak to men and encourage men to really do some deep reflection on their lives and see where their traumas, their upbringing, their experiences in life has had an impact on them that is causing them to kind of move in a direction that's not the healthiest for themselves first. And then I would encourage those men to do the work necessary to heal from those things, in terms of, you know, if you can get that healing from church, then get it from church. Um, I encourage every man to, go at least 6 months of therapy, like deep therapy, do trauma, deal with a trauma informed therapist, especially. And I only say this because this is the experience that I'm familiar with. If you are a black man, I know from my experience as a black man, and a black man that talks to a lot of black men, that we share common experiences that are traumatic. We look at them as just life, but we've experienced trauma, and I think that going and sitting down and dealing with that childhood trauma would be a net benefit to you and everyone around you. It allows us to become more emotionally informed and intelligent, which spills over into everyday life. So that would be the first thing I would encourage. In terms of what I would say to the women, I would just encourage women, deal with the guy that you're with specifically and learn him. I don't believe that no two men are alike. I believe we're all experienced in life and trying to grow. And whatever happened with that one individual does not speak for or dictate the behaviors and actions of all men. I am not a fan of generalizations, so I don't believe all men or women do or don't do anything. I'd rather share an experience with the individual and then base my perception of the individual on my experience with said individuals. And so that would be what I would say in terms of what men want. Because like I said, I know guys that me, for example, I value a deep conversation, especially in the beginning. I value a deep conversation over physical touch most of the time. Now I'm a man, so I have my moments, but most of the time, as long as I'm being sustained with a meaningful conversation, one that allows us to actually get to know each other on a much deeper level. I want to know things that everybody else don't know. And so as long as that is being provided to me, you got a pretty good chance that me and you I'm gonna want to be on the phone all the time. I'm gonna want to talk to you all the time. Um, and I know other guys like that, but I also know other guys that are not like that. I would say it would be in the best interest of everybody to get to know the individuals that you are sharing times and spaces of reality with, rather than trying to take the easy route and generalizing and saying men are this way. Yeah, that I do not remember the last time I shared reality with a female that was not thoroughly surprised of how different I was than what they thought I was going to be based on whatever they saw when they looked at me. I don't know how you can like look at somebody and assume something about them, but I mean I know how that happens, but I just don't find that valuable. But yeah, like I typically get told that I'm very different than what most people thought that I would be, and I would take that approach in dealing with everybody. I think all of us should take that approach and get to know the individual, because while we will have similarities, I don't believe any two people are alike. So yeah, that would be my thought on that.
Could you clear up some misconceptions that people tend to have about men?
Um, People say all men cheat. I think that is not true at all. I think one of the things that I find is people say that men are shut off, and I hear people say stuff like men are logical and women are emotional, and I think that that's a cop out, because I think men are very emotional. They're just not allowed to emote and maintain their manhood, unless, of course, that emotion is anger, because that's an acceptable emotion for men, because that anger is oftentimes associated with a form of protection. Like people see a protector in the anger, but there's a lot of guys who, in their anger, became something very much so other than an protector, and they're spending their lives locked up as a result of trying to maintain that idea of manhood. Manhood. So I think it's important that people allow.
That's some dumbass shit. Walk him outside. It don't matter.
On the mute.
I thought I had y'all on mute, but I
Yeah.
didn't. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But
You
yeah,
ain't hear no unbiblical words. My uncle came by, and I'm trying to make sure this 21-year-old walk him outside. No. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important that people understand that men are human beings, especially in today's time, as men start to see value and strength and vulnerability. They are going to become. They're going to require emotional bandwidth, because they're going to start to experience their emotion. And I think that creates a better man. I'm not a guy who does not believe in stoicism. I just believe in the version of stoicism that we've been, that's the most acceptable. It's not healthy for men. I know that men, I think it's common knowledge that men tend to go under the ground before women. And I think a lot of that has to do with internalizing stress into their nervous system, that's pretty much been proven that that's going to come back to bite you. Those that not dealing with that stress is definitely going to cause a person to have medical issues associated with diabetes and blood pressure and different things like that. So I think that it would be to the benefit of men to start dealing with and learning how to regulate their nervous system and to stop functioning in survival mode and functioning in a way that allows them to maintain an idea of manhood that's not healthy for them as men. And so I would just encourage everyone to make space, men and women, because us men can be we can be really hard on each other about trying to maintain an idea of manhood that is proven to be taking us out of here just because we're not dealing with the stress that's trapped in our nervous systems, and that's not healthy.
So when we speak about men in general,
Mhm.
and we speak about things that affect men in general. You have lived through your teens. You have lived through your 20s. You have lived through your 30s. You're not telling too much of your age, but you are presently,
41 years
you're
old.
not ashamed
No,
of
not at all.
you're in your 40s.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you could walk us through the path of being in our teens, our 20s, our 30s, and being present in our 40s, just from your aspect, what would that look like?
So one of the things I am grateful for, because now I live up north, I live in New Jersey. But one of the things that I'm grateful for being raised down south is that at a young age, there's an expectation to start to assume responsibility. So things like cutting grass and painting and doing work around the house, actual work, learning how to use a hammer, nail, screwdriver, flathead, Phillip head, you know what I'm saying? Those things were stuff that I was exposed to and learned at a very young age. I was raised in, again, the church culture, but at that time, the men got together and did everything that the church needed. You really didn't have contractors coming in doing that stuff because there was usually somebody who could do it who was also a member of the church. And so my experiences running short, I've been able to do sheetrock and go paint people's houses or clean gutters and stuff like that. And that's a direct result of the environment that I came up in at a young age, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Like at 13 years old, when I asked for money, I was saving my money to go get a lawnmower so that I can cut people's yards and make my own money. And so that's one of the benefits of growing up down south specifically. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen anywhere else, but my experience was down south. One of the things that I realized for me is even being brought up in the, I guess, church or religious context that I was brought up in, there has always, again, speaking to the experience of a black man, there's always the influence of hip hop and rap music. And that cultured and told me I had to be a street guy. And it got me for a time in my life. And I really wish that's why I'm so adamant about the things that I'm pushing with what I do is in the long run, there's no benefit in it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to see us making different choices because even the rappers, with all due respect to them and their craft, um, they are obviously not making all of their money off of rap. They're making their money in other areas. There's that initial hit, but they make their money usually in other areas, and that's why when they get up some age, they're owning businesses. And I think that part needs to be put on display as well, and it needs to be a push for the stuff that they talk about to be entertainment, because ultimately that's what it is. If you really did everything you said in your music, then you probably wouldn't be free. And if you got away with it, that's what that is. That's a failure in the justice system. But I think that we have to promote the things that is going to allow our young people to thrive and live very long lives. And the street life is just not something that has been beneficial. So I went through that phase of my life, and I kind of allowed myself to be convinced that I was, because I'm old enough to remember where if you went to church, you didn't listen to that worldly music. You know what I'm saying? And I used to sneak off and listen to it. So it's not a reflection of my parents. It was just me going through that rebellious phase that I think all young people go through. My 20s, I was married by the time I was 22 years old. Yeah, I got married a month before my 23rd birthday. That was an experience. I wish that I would have been better prepared for what that was going to be and what it was going to look like. But I wasn't, and that is what that is. Like, you don't know what you don't know. The idea that marriage had to work a particular type of way, and that when once you said I do, that's what made a marriage. Like, I learned after I went through a divorce that weddings are the event, but marriage is a lifestyle, and you have to develop it over a period of time, and you have to be willing to do the work necessary to develop it. And it's going to be beautiful at times, and it's going to be the worst thing you've ever seen at times. As a believer in God, I believe you can make it through one way or the other. But it's going to be the most challenging thing in your life. And so I was married for 13 years. So 35, 36, I was coming out of the marriage life. Some choices were made that didn't allow the marriage to continue. But I will say, as a man, that if I look back at it, I'm not ashamed of any of the choices that I made. I can genuinely say that I definitely tried everything in my power to not let it end the way it did, but it was beyond my choice. And the compounded interest on good choices, at least from my perspective, allows me to be able to walk around with my head up. And it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, I felt terrible about having gone through a divorce. But at this point, it's, life happens. I've learned that life happens. So it's no bad blood on either side. But I would just say that as a man, I think that young men that do aspire to marriage, that I think that the older men should really consider sitting down and having a real conversation with them about what they're getting themselves into. because it has the potential to be the absolute most beautiful thing in the world. But we live in a time where I would strongly encourage men to make make the right choice, because it could be so. And I would encourage women too, because I'm a girl dad. I if my girls ever decide to get married, I want them to make the right choice, because it can be problematic if you don't. Um, and I'm only 41 years old, so I'm only 1 year into my 40s, and I have, looking at the men who I looked up to when they were in their 40s, for how they worked and how they seemed like the manliest of men. When I look at how health is treating them today, it's made me to, like, I'm on a healing journey for my mind, body, and soul. And so I would encourage anybody in their 40s, if you haven't started all of the body aches and everything, like, start now. Start getting your exercise on. I was telling Letha before that we started, like, last week, I started walking and jogging outside, and I did 5 miles a day. And then Saturday I did 25 miles, and then Sunday I did 2.95 miles, but I was hiking in the mountains doing that. And to be a 41-year-old doing that, I think that's healthy, and it's I'm developing it as a lifestyle. I don't want to just do it for a little while, and I want my blood to be able to flow throughout my body for as long as I possibly can. So up to 41 years old, I would say, if the younger you can start it and create a healthy lifestyle, the much better off you will be. The if you can avoid unhealthy habits at your 15 as a 15-year-old and maintain them throughout your life, I think it's what's best for life. But if you are like me and made a lot of unhealthy choices up until a certain point, I don't believe it's too late to start making healthier choices and seeing what happens. And it is going to hurt at first. My knees and my back and my shoulders, everything hurt at first. But now, pretty much frequent the gym multiple times a week. I make sure I get my 10,000 steps a day in. And I do that through I know that through my Apple Watch and phone and stuff like that. But yeah, I encourage good health and healing and I think that the women in our lives would do us all a great benefit if they encouraged good health and healing in the men as well. I think a better man is a healed and healthy man.
And on that note about the exercising, kudos, because I'm almost 48 and I'm my goal is 40 minutes a day.
That's really good.
And I got a long way to go. So I got things I'm physically I have been in denial with for a while, and I pay attention to people that are over the age of 65 that look good. They go to tennis tournaments and they go to bowling tournaments, and they have a lot of spunk about themselves, male and female. And the message has been basically you get to moving or you lose the ability to use your limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, it's no matter. We can't sugarcoat that part.
Absolutely.
I explained to someone earlier, well, really yesterday, I was walking with a young lady. We was kind of slow. I say, you don't walk to lose weight.
Right.
This is just to keep the mobility going. You eat different to lose weight.
Mm,
You change what you put inside your body.
right.
So me doing this has nothing to do with me trying to lose weight. I'm doing
Right.
this so I can maintain the ability to use my limbs.
Absolutely.
because so many people lose the ability, like people can't get up and they can't walk straight. And I deal with things that has a lot to do with me being disobedient and defiant to what has been told to me over the years. And I'm like, okay, I got to get myself back in order. But I do commend you for mentioning that part, because I think people don't understand that it takes more than just a smile or a good look or a good haircut or a nice outfit. You still
Right.
got to get up and you still got to do something. You still got to do something different. So there are some men right now, Justin, that are hurting. There
Mhm.
are some men that are hurting, and there are some men that are hurting, and there are trying. There are some men that truly feel like there is no way out. There are some men that feels like that no matter how much they do, it's not enough. It's never enough. And there are some men that feel like by the time they got things worked out, something comes along and it sets them back again. And there are some men that truly feel like, why me? Why me? Why me, Lord? Why do I have to go through this? There are some men that feel hopeless, misguided, and there are some men that feel misunderstood. Take a moment and speak solely to those men.
I would agree with them. You, the high probability is that you are misunderstood. Um, the first person that has to honor that specific space where you are is you. Don't allow the space you're in to be weaponized against you. If you are hurt, then you are hurt. If you are misunderstood, the first person that needs to understand you is yourself. Everybody else can or cannot fall in line, but your healing is going to be directly tied to you understanding yourself. Um, in terms of life, my life experience has been the life experience where no matter every time I feel like I'm getting up, something knocks me down. I've just decided that I am going to keep getting back up. I choose to believe that one day I'm not going to get knocked back down. And you have to I believe that good comes over a period of time. So when you fall, if you fall back in the same space, it's because you didn't get up fast enough and climb past that point where you got knocked down at before. And so there was a time in my life when I was like 34 years old where I could bench press 450 pounds. I stopped lifting weights and I can't lift 400, not 450, 405 pounds. I can't lift 405 pounds anymore. I can get 315, but it's heavy. And we're talking about almost 100 pounds more I used to be able to lift. And now, 95 pounds less, and it's heavy to me. Um, but I'm going to keep pushing. It's not necessary to lift that much weight, but I use that as an illustration is because it took a long time to get to 405 for me. And it also took a long time to lose what I had in my body that allowed me to do that. So I don't expect that it's going to be a short amount of time to get back there. It'll be shorter because I know the route, but it's going to require a lot of work. We have to accept that from day one. As a man, I don't believe it's going to be easy. I don't think that's the way. My experience of this world that we live in has not been the way of easy. That's not my experience. I'm sure it don't have to be as hard as I've experienced it, because there are people who have experienced less difficult lives. But for me, I'm deciding that I don't care how hard it is. I'm going to push. And that's really, for me, that's the mindset that those men have to be in. Again, acknowledge your hurt. There are men out there who have been hurt, who have never been allowed to acknowledge it. They've never been able to grieve the things that made grieving a necessary emotion to experience, and they haven't. And while it didn't outwardly manifest itself, that grief still sits on the inside. So I would say, if you need to grieve, then grieve. If you need to experience your humanity, then experience your humanity without fear and without shame. And I ain't saying go and cry in front of everybody. I'm saying there's somebody, there should be somebody that you can go and get that emotional load off of you. If not, reach out to me. That's a part of the business that I own, is to help men understand their emotions enough to be able to get that off of them, because it doesn't go away. It does not go away. You carry it and you carry it and you carry it. And I remember times in my life, I wasn't informed of what was happening at the time, but now I know how to identify what was going on. I experienced panic attacks. I experienced anxiety. I experienced depression. And I'm old enough to remember when all of that had one label: get over it. And the reality is you can force yourself to not deal with it, but it's going to come up, and it's going to come up over and over and over again. And then you'll have somebody with reasonably good health still experiencing things that are associated with bad health. Why? Because they have internalized emotions that have not been addressed. They have nervous system irregulation that has not been addressed. And so I encourage any man going through that phase, brother, please feel free to experience the full scope of your humanity. Tears does not make you not a man. Expressing yourself does not make you not a man. Becoming more emotionally intelligent does not make you not a man. And if you are in an environment that they're telling you that that makes you not a man, you need to not be in that environment anymore. It don't take away from your manhood to experience the full scope of your humanity. You deserve to be treated with respect, to be treated with dignity. You deserve to be honored for your sacrifice. You deserve to be honored if you are doing the work that qualifies you as a dad or father. You deserve to be honored for that. And you don't have to sit and suffer in silence. You don't have to do that. Understand if you feel that way at a certain age, because up until a couple of years ago, we did have to just sit and suffer in silence. You weren't allowed to hurt and everything like that out in the open. But the reality is that you can and you should experience the full scope of your humanity so that you could empathize when others do it. I think that, like, sometimes men get angry with women for being emotional, but it's just because we don't experience the full scope of our emotions. So women's emotions seem to be too much. But I think if we were allowed to experience the full scope of our emotions, then we could empathize and work with the women with their emotions. And I think a man that has learned how to experience his emotions is a better man to everybody around him.
I want to thank you for taking the time. I personally don't think men get enough accolades or acknowledgement, or I don't think we discuss enough that men actually go through like everybody else, or worse, because you're the man. I tell people this. This is what I've been sharing with people. People don't need a reminder of what they need to work on. They don't. When people are doing the best they can do, one of the worst things, in my most humble opinion, is constantly remind them they are already beating themselves up about what they need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not coming from that go for men, women, boys, girls, teenagers. I think it's a service if I want to have a conversation with somebody about something they need to work on that they already know that they need to work on, probably something they already been working on. And
Hmm.
just because I don't see the outcome in the moment, the way that I feel like the outcome it needs to be, then in my brain they haven't been doing enough, but I don't know what you've been doing when I ain't been watching.
Right.
So I do most definitely thank you for being here and being present, and for any man that may see this, truly understand that we are really here to help. Justin is a phenomenal man. He truly is. He's a gifted person. You're a gifted person.
Thank
You have a higher calling on your life than what you realize. Um, with everything that you have done in the past year plus, there's just a small portion of, I most humbly believe, of what's to come that God is going to bless you with.
you.
I truly believe that. I believe that because of things you have gone through, with not just your marriage, ministry.
Mm.
Ministry destroys a lot of people. And we touched on that, but we didn't talk enough on that.
Hmm.
Maybe it's something that we need to pick up again.
Okay.
Ministry destroys a lot of people because it did it to me.
Mm.
And it did it to me because you can have mentors, but you can still have inadequate training.
Absolutely.
Um, but yet and still you here. No matter what, you still made yourself available to be present. And I'm a firm believer that when people make themselves available to be present, whether they see a outcome or not, that there are some deeper blessings in store. I'm just a firm believer in that. That's just who I am. Nobody can take that away from me.
Amen.
Nobody. Nobody can convince me that when you are present for the Lord, however we cut it. And I tell people, and I hate to go here, but I don't hate to go here. I'm about to go here. This is not about church. It's not about spirituality. It's not about politics. But when there is something telling you you need to be present for something, and you may not know or truly understand what that something is, that positive energy that you put into that, those blessings are going to come. And you continue to make yourself present on different platforms. Because I don't think y'all understand. This man works and he's a father. And fatherhood, just like motherhood, you don't get to take off. He's on different platforms, listening, giving insight, sharing journeys, trying to bring awareness to different types of things. And he takes his energy to do that. And when a person can pull themselves together to do that in spite of, because I'm one of them people, I need to know ahead. I got to plan it. If my brain say I can't be there, Letha can't be there. It ain't an excuse. And this is somebody that has been consistent weekly, daily, on different platforms. This is somebody that has made themselves available. This is somebody that has taken time out. He really don't even understand why. And we don't even talk on the phone. And I know for a fact, he don't even know why.
You're right.
All because he felt like it's something he need to do. And the urge that he has ain't got nothing to do with him. Because when you have an urge or a calling to do something, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's got something to do with the people or the parishioners or the people or the flock that you choose to try to lead and direct in a more positive manner. And I think if people truly understood that when it comes to assignments, not just any type of assignments, divine assignments, because everything that we are assigned to in life is not an assignment from God.
Mm.
This man has went through things that people in his 60 have not even went through yet. And he still finds a way to pull himself together and show up with a smile on his face. And I think that if more people truly understood that we have men that show up in spite of it all. Men don't get to show up and gripe and complain. Not no real man. He don't get to show up and talk about how he didn't get no sleep last night. He don't get to show up and talk about how he was up trying to do his work on his job. He don't get to show up and talk about how he been up since 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and he could not shut it off. And he been up praying and he been talking to the Lord. And then by the time he fell asleep, his alarm went off. And all of a sudden he got to get up and he got to get his kids ready. And men don't have not been allowed the space to do that. And the reason I'm thankful that Justin is here, because I know just a small sample of what Justin does. I don't know nothing but a little bit. But I also know that Justin is struggling with calling and trying to figure out which direction that he is to go. And I think people, we need to understand, women, that men struggle worse than we do, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. Because we get to lean on somebody else while we struggling. Even if we ain't got a man, we can lean on best friend. We can lean on mama. We can lean on auntie. We can lean on... Men don't even feel comfortable talking to their preachers because they're a man. And then we got the audacity to tell them, you should talk to them. You ain't a man. I ain't a man. So I can't tell you what you ought to do. Because even the preachers in the pulpit don't feel comfortable. And then we got the audacity to want to tell people, a man, how he ought to be a man. I can't tell you how to be a man. I can't tell you that this is how you need to do it because this is the way that Letha think you ought to do it. It is not my space. It is not my place to tell any man that this is how this needs to be done. Because guess what? I'm not. What I ain't is no man. And I think if we could stop trying to tell men how to be men, first of all, because a lot of people have argued for the years that men have been, how can I say it? That it's almost like men have been lowered. And if I'm a woman and I'm telling you how to be a man, technically you have been lowered as a man.
I agree.
I'm a whole woman. Who am I to tell you what you need? I'm a one man. I'm a woman. I was made from a man. Who is a woman to tell the man how the heck he need to be a man?
Absolutely.
Who is a woman to tell a man how he need to be a man? I'm still trying to figure out the type of woman I need to be. Who am I to tell you how you need to be as a man? And I think that we have allowed Black women. I'm finna go here. I did a message some years ago. It's been a long time ago. Long time ago. And I talked about how Black women have carried so much on the shoulders of society.
Mm.
I spoke about how Black women had to take care of massa. They had to take care of their men and all this stuff. But what does that say to the man who had to endure that?
Mm.
And we haven't even taken enough of a pause to understand that you don't have to have lived in slavery days. I'm not trying to push you back in slavery days. But in today's time, through everything that you have done and through everything that you have gone through, who am I to tell you how to be a man? The man that I want you to be, and I'm still not where I need to be as a woman. And a lot of men, quiet as it kept, they go along to get along.
Sure.
Not because they want to, all just to keep somebody's mouth shut. All because it's politically correct in the moment. And I think that we need to stop co-signing the BS when it comes to our men. I think that if a man say this is what it is, whether I agree with it or not, and if a man is talking as a man, that's just what it is. I can't tell you how men think. I'm not a man. I can give you my humble opinion as a woman, but I think we got to stop trying to speak for men and nurture men that don't need nurturing when men just need to be heard. And once men are heard, in my most humble opinion, then men can truly be understood. Because
Right.
if you can't hear, you can't understand no way. If you can't listen, you can't hear. And if you can't hear, you can't be understood.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for just being present.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that whomever sees this, ladies, we need to kind of stop. We overanalyze our men and we not analyzing ourselves. Maybe we don't need to analyze men. Maybe we need to focus on ourselves. Because we come with more than what we realize, and then we want to get it out to these men instead of just telling these men thank you. And I talk to men, I ain't calling names. I wouldn't dare do that, but I talk to men of all ages. Our age, younger, older, senior citizen. Men got a lot on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
A real man is always trying to figure out how their family gonna be taken care of.
Every day.
We trying to figure out how to. I don't get my nails done, but I'm trying to figure out how to buy me another wig to go on top of my head. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I'm trying to pay love me. I'm just Frederica want to laugh so bad, but she can't. She didn't hit her face in the camera, and that's okay. But it's just the truth.
I didn't even realize
That's
she
all
was
I'm
here.
saying. I'm trying to figure out how to get me another haul from Shein, and I can't even fit the clothes that I bought because I done convinced myself that I'm gonna lose about 30, 40 more pounds. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. And the whole time they trying to figure out how somebody gonna be straight. So I think that we need to applaud our men, ladies, women. I don't want to link this to black women because it's like all men go through. When I tell y'all all men go through, Frederica know where I work. Like all men go through, man. Like better y'all than me because I just couldn't do it. That's all I'm gonna say. Ain't no my brain can't even allow me to do certain stuff. Like I don't see it in the forecast for me.
Mm.
I don't it's just some stuff I don't see. I don't and it's some stuff that if people saw a glimpse of my world with these hothead people that's about to be on your job, what they call it, self-termination. Ain't that right? They
Mm-hmm.
finna be self-evicted.
Mm.
Yeah, self-evicted. They got cars, so I'm convinced I've accepted the fact that will be okay, but I can't make myself to bring myself to how we complain about when we complain as women. And these men out here doing the stuff that they doing. And they ain't trying, it ain't for them. It's majority of the time for the world around them. And it's like, man, I be like, man, they just don't know. Honey, because if you could have called me a while back.
Yeah, Letha, I agree. I agree. I agree with everything you said. Um, just to kind of touch bases a little bit on what Justin spoke about a little while ago about men needing to properly grieve. Um, there was a situation last year where one of my childhood friends I had known since we were kids had lost his longtime girlfriend, and he took it really, really hard, like really, really hard. And he was trying to hold all of it in. And I told him, I said, bro, just cry. Like that, I mean, just cry. I'm not gonna look at you any differently. I'm not gonna think you any less of a man, but you can't hold all of it in. Cause he had gotten to the point where he wasn't sleeping, he wouldn't eat, he just he just wasn't, he literally was not himself because he felt like he had to have this tough guy exterior. You know, I still got to work. I still got to do this. I still got to do that. I still got to put on this mask that this world wants to see me in. I'm like, bro, take that mask off and just cry. You know, because you love that woman. Y'all loved each other, and you know it's okay to grieve that she's not here. It's okay to do that, but also learning to accept that while she's not here in the physical sense, but she's always in your heart. She's always going to be with you spiritually. She's in everything that you do. And so a lot of his art, a lot of his music, a lot of the things that he does in tribute to her now. And I told him, I said, that's the best way to honor her, to keep going. It's okay to cry and hurt. It's probably gonna always hurt, because that was the love of your life. But you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. There's nothing wrong with grieving and take as long as you need. At that point in time, I was like, if it takes you a month, a year, or however long, take it. And I feel like if we as women start to encourage men to be a little bit more in tune with their emotions, maybe we wouldn't be so crazy. I'm just saying. Maybe. Hear me out, ladies. I'm just saying. Sometimes you gotta let a man have his emotional moment. You gotta and don't look at him any differently. You want him to so-called be emotionally intelligent enough to handle you with all of your craziness and all of your yeah, all of that. But you can't even allow this man to have an emotional moment to himself. That's what he needs.
Well, what the Bible tell us? A man rather be well on the what?
Right.
Man rather be on the rooftop
Right.
than in the house with a brawling woman. And over the years, they
Right.
changed it to a nagging woman.
Right.
Don't
right.
no man like no nagging female. Now I done came out and I done said it. Don't no
You
man
right.
like no nagging female. If all you gonna do is yang, 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 yang,
Mhm.
yang, don't no man like no nagging female.
That is facts.
Ain't
That
nothing
is
new under the
facts.
sun. Don't damn man. And
That
you
is
find
facts.
a man. And see, somebody gonna take it the wrong way, but I'm gonna come out and
You
say it.
already know it, but it's the
You
truth.
find
Women,
a man that like nagging and a lot of gossip. He a man, but he ain't your man. He your sister man. I'm
right.
trying to say this thing right. I'm just
Better
saying.
tell them.
I'm
Better
just
tell
saying,
them.
and there's nothing wrong with that. However, don't know man want to deal with no nagging yak
Right.
all the time. Like, come on, women, can we just like don't no man want to hear nothing about no like I I'm sick of chaos. Okay, because I got enough stuff going on. I could hear myself telling my daughter earlier, she going through some stuff. She going through a breakup, 6 years, 6, and 6, and she been gone. She left the house at 18, and you couldn't have told me that was gonna last all them years, but it did. And I had to. I end up telling her. I say, I don't mean no harm. She said, yes, ma'am. I said, I really don't want to have a conversation about nobody that ain't benefiting you at this point. You get what I'm saying? And then I'm listening to yeah. I say, and I get it. And you have a right to your feelings. I have a right not to let this individual be rent free in my head. So, and you can't always, yep, because that can kind of be a turnoff. And it takes too much energy. And outside of it being a turnoff, we indulge too much energy into bull crap that just diminishes our energy. And the only thing, in my humble opinion, I don't know because I ain't no man. Okay, Justin is the man. I ain't no man. But in my most humble opinion, the only thing it do, if a man even got a piece of a focus on you, that stuff doesn't do nothing but drain whatever focus he got. Don't no man want to be bothered by that chaos all the daggum time. So people please pay attention to what Frederica said. Like, come on. Don't nobody want to deal with it. Like, he got his own crap going on. Either you gonna be his safe space and his happy place, or you just gonna be no place. And I'm gonna say it again. Either you're gonna be his safe place or his happy place, or you just gonna be no place. Because not no man that's about anything as a man want to be bothered with that. Now, we have some men that we can talk to, but they're not like the man, they're the she man. And the she man is our friend man. That's all I'm saying. They're like our friends. Y'all, like, I'm trying to say it the best way I can. So they're like our friends. They're like our, girl, you get one, they not like our girls, but they like our shooks and our honeys and our gossip buddies. You get what I'm saying? They're like our catwalking buddies. They're gonna show us how to walk the runway real cute. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't trying to, y'all straight up laughing, and I'm straight up serious.
You are. Yeah.
And I'm straight up serious, but they're not those men. And I don't care how you try to cut it with a woman. That's the thing about women. No matter what lifestyle we live, we still women. We still are emotionally tied to things.
That's true.
And I think people don't, like, we're still emotionally connected. Men are not built to be like that. I fought that for years. It's the truth. I accept it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Don't try to make this man be emotionally connected to something because you emotionally connected to something, and he just like, whatever. Let's figure this thing out. Well, that's all it is. That's all it is. Well, that ain't good enough. Well, now you the one with the mental problem. Because he said, let's handle it. And because he ain't handling it in an emotional manner, all of a sudden you got the problem. And he just trying to solidify or rectify the situation. So I think that in honor of honoring men, we need to learn how to honor a man without telling him how to be a man.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a man is, there is nothing wrong with that. Take a step back and pay attention. Pay attention. If somebody, I tell people I can't stand a leech. I just don't like it. I don't care if they kinfolk, children folk, skin folk. I don't care what kind of folk. I don't like leeches. I just don't like them. I can love you, but I don't have to like you if you're a leech. So people that are always leaning and depending on somebody may not be the people you need to be dealing with. But then maybe you need to work on being better for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if more people were better for themselves, things would actually be better, especially in regards to our men,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You got it, Frederica. I'm done. I didn't say it enough.
You good, Lisa. But I was just gonna say, one of the things that I've had to learn over the years, dealing with men, specifically dealing with Black men. That's just my preference. People are free to love whoever they want to love and date whoever they want to date. Me, I love my Black men, love my Black kings. What I have learned just over the years, and it's took a lot of hard lessons, but you have to learn how to listen more than you talk. When you're dealing with a man, a manly man, you have to learn how to listen to him to understand. Listen to understand. Don't just listen to find something to react to or find something to, oh, why you do that and why da 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 da. Don't do that. Men hate that. All men hate that. Let me just put that out there. They hate that. Listen to really understand what he's. This man done had the longest day. He done worked 12, 14, 16 hours. And they done gave him the blues all day. He come home to you as his woman trying to tell you about his day. And the only thing you heard out of that 25-minute rant that man just did was Sally Sue walked by him and said good morning. Girl, what is wrong with you? This man just sat up here and said you listening to find something to react. Now you thinking that he cheating all because some random female just told him good morning and walked away. Now you think he cheating. That's how stuff gets started. And I had to learn how to, let me just listen to really understand. And now that I'm, older, I'm in my late 30s, almost 40, Lord Jesus. It's a blessing. I've had to really
Ma'am,
learn.
don't do that, because I'm about to get my ARP card soon.
Listen,
Just saying, you kind of
listen
making
and
me.
learn.
I know I'm a junior senior citizen around here, but you ain't. I mean, 40 ain't old.
I'm 38.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
I'm
saying,
getting there.
I'm just saying that I think I do. I'm thinking I'm doing all right around here. Oh
You
no,
are.
I might have to do
You
me a
are.
Frederica photo shoot like she did she did a while back, honey. Cause the way I'm just saying we ain't trying to make this a female. But honey, Frederica.
No, pull it back.
40 ain't
Pull it
old.
back.
40 ain't
Pull
old,
it back.
shorty. Because I'm
It's
old.
not.
I'm if I'm blessed to be here, I'm gonna be 48. Okay. If the
Yes.
Lord say the
Yes.
same. And
Yes.
I think I'm halfway cute around here. I'm just saying. You had to make me pull this wig off and cut my hair off and put my eyelashes back on. I'm just trying to figure this thing out because it's just the way you said it, and I'm a hush, but 40 ain't old, love. And my daughter don't like the word love, but I'm just saying, like, I have a complex as well. So my complex is I'm trying to stay cute, okay? We not gonna have these getting old conversations, okay?
Oh
Because I'm
goodness.
still gonna wear my too tight clothes and do my thug thizzle. I'm still gonna do what I do. I'm just saying. So ain't nobody finna make me feel too old around here, okay? I ain't gonna that I don't know if I'm gonna ever be delivered from that part, okay? I'm just saying. Because the way you approach that 40 conversation, I'm like, hold up now. I know you young and you cute and you did your little thing a while back with that because Justin ain't see that photo shoot you did a while back, but
Oh my
I
goodness.
might have to do something like that, because honey, I'm just trying to figure this thing, because you got me feeling like, okay, Letha, you
Well,
ain't
with
no
age,
old, we
it's
ain't
supposed to
no
come
old cold,
wisdom.
honey. I'm just trying to figure this thing out, because honey, you
With age comes wisdom. Which
yeah,
age
wisdom
comes
and
wisdom.
cuteness and fineness too. Cause I mean, we gonna
Yes.
it's okay. We gonna deal with that. Justin, I'm sorry, but I mean, the way she went with that 40 conversation, I'm just trying to say, I'm a hush again, but
You're beautiful, ma'am. You're very.
okay. Thank you. You are too. I'm gonna do me a Frederica photo shoot. Yeah, cause he didn't
I'm
see
looking
that one.
forward to it. I saw the ones that she posted on Facebook.
Honey, you missed. It's one you missed. Trust me. Because I'm gonna have to put my two-piece on and a biscuit too. I'm gonna have to get on my 2-piece and a biscuit too. That's all I'm trying to. My 2-piece and a biscuit too. That's all I'm trying to figure
Let me
out.
go get on
Honey.
Facebook real quick.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, because if you can do your 2-piece and a biscuit, I can do mine too. Cause
You gonna have all these men on my stuff looking for these pictures. Don't do that.
It's
Don't do
engagement.
that.
It's a good thing.
Don't do that. Letha. So, okay, Letha. Okay. But you know, with age comes wisdom. We gonna keep it moving. With age comes wisdom. With age comes wisdom. So, you know, like I was saying, as a woman, you know, we have to learn how to really just listen to our men to understand them. Cause let's be a little transparent. Men are not as complicated as we make them out to be. They are really some simple creatures. Like I said, all you gotta do is listen to them. A man will tell you everything he needs. Just listen to him. Just listen to him. Just listen to him. Listen to him and understand. He'll let you know what his love language is. He'll let you know what he need when he come home. Sometimes he just need a hot bath, hot meal, rub his back or rub his head so he can go to sleep and relax. Like he don't need all of this. All of this talking, nagging and stuff, he don't need all that. Men don't like that. They really don't. And that's something that in a lot of my past relationships, I realized that I did a lot and didn't realize that I was doing it because that's what I saw growing up. That's what I saw growing up. And so I thought that that's what I was supposed to be doing. So having to unlearn a lot of unhealthy behaviors that you see, you know, when you're younger and now that you're older, you now that you know better, you're supposed to do better, you know? So listen to understand. Don't listen to react
or
and
respond.
nag. Listen to understand. Cause these men they deserve the world. They go out here and they deal with so much, especially our black men. They deal with so much on a daily basis. The world is against them on so many different levels. And the last thing they need is to come home and have to fight another battle at home. They have enough battles to fight in the world. They don't need to be fighting against a woman when they get home. She needs to be his peace, his safe space, his let me go hide from the world with my woman. You know, that's what he needs.
Hey, you know what I've been telling people? Justin, don't judge me. Justin, don't judge me. Justin, don't judge me.
I
Justin, do not
promise you I'm
judge
not.
me. I said, and I've been saying for the past 2 months, I realized why mamas push their boys off on folks' daughters. Frederica, don't you judge me either. I realized that a lot of men have been pushed on folks' daughters. All because they folks got tired of dealing with them. I understand why folks pay bills outside of their house. It ain't for them kids. It's for them other people. Because I can't say what I want to say right here because I almost said a word I don't think other people need to hear me say. Because I don't need other people to think it's okay for them to say what I want to say. And you know, there used to be a thing called, it is still, but it's less in the black, it's well, not black. I'm gonna say this. It's less in the American culture. It used to be something called arranged marriages, right? It still happens. Oh, I know people that's done arranged marriages in the past year, 2 years, but they are a whole nother culture. They ain't white, they ain't black, and they ain't Hispanic, and that's all I'm saying. So, I I understand some things, but what I don't gather, and I'm gonna put sole responsibility on myself. I ain't just gonna put it on the dad. I'm gonna put it on me as a mama. I have, according to my daughter, coddled them so much. And the best thing to do is to step back. But my issue is I don't know how to step back. So I'm always in the middle. And when I hear a 24-year-old say that to me, I think about things that I hear 60-plus-year-olds have been saying over the past X amount of years, right? And I hear this conversation that a lot of the times the women, the mothers have interfered with things. And the fathers have taken a step back because if they don't take a step back, it creates too much chaos. Right. And I look at my present situation with my young adult sons, and I'm like, Letha, you have just done way too much. And in my humble opinion, compared to what other people do, I'm not comparing myself, but I haven't done as much as I think that I have done. But in my humble opinion, I still have done too much. And so it's kind of like, if I know you're dating, I'm like, you need to be, conscientious of this, you need to be conscientious of that. If you met her folks, how her folks feel about you, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it's kind of like, I understand why people push their sons off on folks' daughters, and that is so horrible for me to say, but it's the truth, Frederica. It's so much the truth. Like, I need y'all to be pushed so far away, y'all just push out away. I know. I really feel like that. And I might need therapy for my feelings, but I'm dead serious at this point.
I recommend therapy. I do. I do. I do. Therapy is a good thing. Listen, therapy is a good thing. And to speak
I'm not
on,
no teenager. Keep in mind, my mama been gone since I was 17. Okay. So I don't have a level, it's a certain level of understanding I don't have. Okay. You
right,
can't
right.
talk to me about the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
My mama been gone since I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's children had to figure it out.
Right.
So I don't allow that level of no, 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 no. I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
I was 17. So I don't allow them to use certain things on me because I was still 17. I ain't
Right.
perfect, but I'm halfway decent. And I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
The 17. Had to figure some stuff out. Wasn't perfect. And I'm like, and I don't never judge nobody else's. I'm always talking about my situation. I don't do that. I don't try to look outside of my situation. So when I'm talking about my internal situation. I'm not talking about nobody else, but my situation. I don't think it's ever good to try to do this
Mm-hmm.
to other people. That's just me personally. But it's like my mama was I was 17. That's my defense. 17. like a whole 17. 17. And I think that there are some things that I have done, regardless of their dad being there. I still think it's some things that I have done that have interfered with
Yeah.
some things because I have done this. And to hear my daughter, Lord, she been gone since she was 18 and she's 24. Men and women are different. Justin, don't even jump on that bandwagon because that's the truth. This ain't nothing against men, but we tend to pick it up a little quicker.
Yeah, that's true. But
We
what
tend to
I
pick it up a little quicker. But listen, to hear a 24-year-old say, Mama, not what the world doing, not what the job doing, not what dad doing. Okay, this is what you have done. And it's like, okay, I wish somebody take them and just keep them. And I may really need therapy, but I'm real serious about what I say because in my brain, if you old enough to work, you old enough to do everything else in my brain. And I'm not perfect, but that's just how I feel. And I've always felt like that. And I don't think nothing is going to change my feelings on that. A lot of women have coddled their sons. My aunt used to say
yeah,
Black women raise their daughters and
yeah,
spoil their sons. And I
I
came out and said it, and it's kind of like I am dealing with trying to kick people out my house
Mhm.
because they on the nipple or the tit or whatever you want to call it. Um, on top of me being a new grandmama,
Mhm.
oh my old granny. And it's kind of like, oh, I ain't nobody I can blame but me. Ain't nobody I can blame but me.
But you gotta give yourself grace. You
I
gotta
am,
give
but I
yourself some
want
grace.
grace and I want you out. But I'm just saying, like,
Give yourself some grace. Give
I'm
yourself
getting
some grace.
plenty of grace, but I want you OUT. Not
Yeah.
you, y'all. Justin.
Lord. Yeah, but like you said that conversation does need to be had, and it's a very uncomfortable conversation for a
But who do
lot
I
of
have it with? Cause
it,
ain't
your
no enemy.
therapist, your
Yeah, a
therapist,
therapist. Cause
your
ain't no need me
therapist
trying to
is
talk to
Jesus.
baby. Because
Your
I got
therapist
one.
is
That one
Jesus.
earlier. Child, blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, with a fortress, glory divine. You hear me?
Yeah,
When I
but
didn't have
Blake,
this thing on mute, that one right down, that was he the baby, but he ain't no baby. He a big ogre, but he ain't no baby, but he a baby. I'm confused.
well, I mean, like you said, a lot of women coddle their sons.
I
Why?
interfered. I
I
interfered
don't
too
know.
much. I interfered a lot.
And
Yep.
you should not have. If we be
I am the
honest.
product of an interfering mother. Yep. I'm the product of a mother that interfered.
Yeah.
A lot.
Hmm.
And they got beat a lot. I just don't know what I interfered on. Like they got beat. They got beat and bruised and they fell into the belt buckle a time or two. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. Cause it's kind of like I don't think it worked. I think maybe something knocked something loose. No, I really feel like something got knocked loose.
Let Justin speak on that. Just what Justin got to say? I'm interested.
About
He don't know where to start, but I'm a hush.
Mothers coddling their sons too much.
I think that's a terrible idea. But before we go any further, can you explain what you mean when you say coddling?
Um, okay, so I use this for instance. I'll use the youngest one for an example, okay? My youngest one, he went to school on scholarship, and he wasn't gone but an hour and a half up the highway. And when he wanted to come home, we went and got him. Okay, fine. He was on football scholarship. Football was over with. He came home. I don't think he should have been allowed to just come home. Caught him, right? Because it's like football was over with. He chose to come home and he got to come home like that. That's, to me, that's a form of coddling, right? Even though he worked hard, and he works hard presently, and I don't think that as I look at it now, I don't think that should have been allowed. And then the other son that elected not to go to school, I think that he should not have been allowed to reside so long. I know the money that's made. And that's the topic of another discussion because I've seen pay stubs and paychecks. So when you make more in the first 4 or 5 months in the year than I'd have made all last year, I'm just saying. So that's a form of coddling to me when you have been made so comfortable to where you can do things and there is no level of true responsibility,
Yeah.
standards.
So
Yeah.
you
I think
you're an enabler. You enabled them to.
I most definitely enable these jokers. They some creatures too. I love them, but they some creatures. But
I'm
they darn
I'm
sure enable.
I'm not going to speak on those brothers specifically because I don't know them.
I don't take it
But I
personal.
think
You can.
I
Trust me,
think
I ain't one of them. You should know by now I ain't one of them.
nah, I know. But I think I think that young men especially who are expected to become the provision providers and protection for households have to get a need to be exposed to the reality that is associated with that, with the weight and magnitude of that responsibility. And so, yeah, like not letting, saving the day all the time for somebody who's going to go into a culture who expects him to be the day saver can definitely warp reality. And that's where the issue of coddling can become a much larger issue because it's not going to be helpful. So that's what I would say about it.
You're trying to say you're trying to stay safe. And
I'm,
I
I'm
think
just
that
trying to answer the question in the best way possible because
but you can just come out and say it. Like a lot of the time women just interfere and they just jack up the crap. That's
well,
just
you
what it
said
is.
that. You said it, so I didn't have to. I agree,
But
but
that's just
again,
truly what
for
it
me, I
is.
wasn't taught. Like I left the house at 17, so I don't really know what that
But you're not
experience is.
you don't have to say it, but I think that a lot of the times that um women truly do interfere, and the fathers or the uncles or who's ever in the midst, they tend to kind of take a step back because it can raise too much weight confusion. So that's not to take away from what they are and who they're willing to be in these people's lives, but I think that from my personal experience that the things that I have tried to avoid, I have been the very bane of that particular existence. And the bane of that existence has become annoying to me. And I do get concerned because I feel like, in my most humble opinion, I look at it like, okay, ain't none of my kids lazy. They will get up and go to work. Okay. I mean, they're gonna go to now, them jokers gonna work. They gonna work. With my young men, I feel like I got one. He gonna keep a dollar no matter what. He gonna stock, he gonna save, he gonna do what he gotta do. I feel like with the other one, and it's always going to be one, whether it's male or female. I don't think it has nothing to do with it being a male. I think that it's always just going to be one, male or female. You get what I'm saying? That tends to be a little bit more delayed than the others, and it has nothing to do with the age. But I think it has a lot to do with how we coddle and try to stop certain things, and how we try to control things, and how Lethal want things to work out the way Lethal want things to work out, or do things in the way Lethal want things to get done. To me, in my most humble opinion, that's a version of coddling. And I don't know if there is a way to fix that, because once people have been used to doing things for so long, none of us I tell people, we ain't no light switches. You can't shut me on and then shut me off.
Yeah,
I'm not a light. I can't speak for nobody else. Letha ain't no light switch. So what you see today is what you're gonna see tomorrow. I don't care how you try to flick it. I'm gonna be the same way tomorrow that you see today. It may take me a little while to kind of do some stuff a little different. So with the coddling situation, I just feel like that a lot of people who may hold on, especially women, a little bit closer to their young men. I just feel like we just holding on. And I feel like while we holding, we causing so much damage. I just feel like we causing so much, we just causing them damage.
Very much so. Very much so. Because when they get out in the real world, let's be honest, who wants to date a mama's boy? Who wants to date somebody's son that don't know how to wash dishes, pick up after himself, do his own laundry? Like who wants to do that? Like, am I your woman or your maid? Like, let's be honest. No woman wants to deal with a man that does not how to do basic life stuff.
And that's the
Like,
craziest stuff. You just said it.
yeah. Like, in as black women, we do, like, we have to stop babying our boys to the point where they don't know how to grow up and be real men. Like, we gotta stop interfering so much. We have to. I know
Cause
that those are our babies, but we gotta stop interfering so much.
I didn't grow up around the men. And I know I'm not shouldn't be comparing, but I didn't grow up around men that didn't do certain stuff. The men knew how to cook, clean, sew. You name it, the men could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Frederica. You gonna close us out? Justin had to leave. You gonna close us out?
Yes, I can. Hold on. All right.
This was good. This was good though.
Yes, it was. It was. You ready?
I am.
All right. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you once again for allowing us to come together into fellowship, and celebrate these wonderful men in our lives, and to have these discussions. Um, they are real discussions, and they are things that do need to be talked about. And we hope that, with these discussions comes some type of peace and understanding in someone's lives, and let all of the men know, whether they're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, the men of all races and backgrounds and religions, please let them know that we love them and they are celebrated, they are loved, they are appreciated for everything that they do, not just for financial reasons, Father, but just them being present in our lives, and them, being the backbone of a lot of our families. Just let them know that they are loved, they are celebrated, they are appreciated, and we need them more than we know and more than we want to admit. You know, we do. Let's be honest, we do. So just Father God, just keep us as we are absent from each other and help us to grow closer to you with all of our wisdom. In Jesus' name, I do pray these and many blessings. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, beautiful, for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, beautiful. Have a good evening, okay?
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.